GoToMeeting online, but it'll also be videotaped for public access broadcasting as well. I want to thank our fearless conservation agent, Amy, for all her behind-the-scenes work to get this done, as well as our technical support here at Town Hall. It's kind of a brave new world, so we're going to try this out and see how it goes. Tonight, we're going to have continuances for all of our RDAs, as well as notice of intents. And so what I think I'll do is I'll go down the line and just open these hearings and then motion to continue them, requesting a second. And I'll call for discussion in case somebody has some, but I expect for these continuances, we'll move through them fairly quickly. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is 12 Aaron's Way. It's a RDA, request for determination of applicability for a proposed addition. I move that we continue till April 1st, Amy?
Yes.
Until April 1st, 2020. Could I have a second from one of the members, please?
I second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, Stan seconded the motion, seeing no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, I got 2 ayes.
Aye.
Okay, that's John. And I think Mark, did I hear you as well?
Aye.
Okay, so that's...
Yeah, Brad?
Yes.
Brad, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful, good. For the continuance, may I ask that Amy verify whether or not the deck on the back of the house was permitted?
We're on 12 Aaron's Way at this point. Does that pertain to...
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, yep, okay.
I
Question.
would suggest that there's no
Other than-
testimony for this.
I would vote for the continuance.
Yeah, Ernie, what Amy suggested, there is no testimony for this, so we're just gonna continue until April 1st. So, okay, so that vote was unanimous in favor of continuing that.
That's fine.
Yep. The next item on the agenda is 49 Nons Road. It's a request for determination of applicability for a deck expansion. And I move that we grant a continuance until April 1st, 2020. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, seconded by John. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, third on the agenda is a request for determination of applicability for 113 Brooks Road for a new septic system. I motion that we continue to April 1st, 2020. Could I have a second, please?
I second it.
Okay. Seconded by
Second.
Stan. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And then the final request of determination of applicability is for 1039 Route 28, confirmation of resource area delineation. I move that we continue this hearing until April 1st, 2020. Could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Catherine.
Second.
Carolyn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next, we have a request for change in plans for 39 Strandway. It's a NOI to remove an existing patio and construction of a new screen porch. I think Amy might have some comments for us on this.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So first, before I start my comments, is the representative for 39 Strandway present?
Yes, Stephen Sullivan from KBC Builders.
Okay. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
So what this is we approved the project a couple of years ago. There's a removal, what they're asking to do now is remove an existing patio and construction of a new screen porch. This is a reduction of 345.2 square feet of hardscape from what was approved by making this change. In conjunction, they would like to reduce the amount of mitigation that they have to do. at that 2-to-1 ratio, which is 690 square feet. So no fertilization is already happening. Let's expand it to say no chemical application. I do think if they came in originally with a lesser amount of hardscape, as they are now, we would have required just the 2-to-1 for that. So I would recommend approval of the change in plan, as it is there's less hardscape than what was previously permitted. And I would just suggest that the remainder of their mitigation planting that they do have to do is to all be along the top of the coastal bank.
Thank you, Amy.
I don't know if Steve had anything to say.
Any further comments from the proponent?
It's very cut and dry. Amy made it clear.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go down the line for the Conservation Commission members for discussion, and I'm going to start with Carolyn.
I think it's hard. I haven't seen this property. If I have, I don't remember it exactly. I always have concerns about taking patios and putting structures on them. So I'm going to wait to listen to other people's thoughts. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Just to clarify that, Amy, so what zone is this in? Would this work taking place? Is it 0 to 50 or 50?
50 to 100.
50 to 100. Mm-hmm.
And it was a pretty formalized patio.
Yeah.
And it is going to a screened porch. You could condition that it's not to become formal living space of the house in the future. But it is a smaller footprint than even the hardscape patio that was permitted.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. So let me continue with Ernie's up next on my list. Hi, Ernie. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute this, Brad.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm unmuting it, Brad.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm fine with this. I think that even though it's within the 50 to 100, the reduction in hardscape is acceptable, along with the proviso that they have no chemical applications at all in this lot.
Thank you. So next, John, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, hi. I had a look at this just in satellite view on Google Maps, and it's pretty clear that the patio shown in the plan is existing. That was built. I wasn't around in 2017. I guess that's when this was approved. But my question is, what's going to happen to the area that's now patio but is outside of the footprint of the new screen porch? And the other half of it is, the other question is, there's no planting plan here. There's no illustration that I can see, at least in the one document, that there's one plan here. There's no indication of where the mitigation goes or what it's going to be.
All I can say is that they had an original mitigation plan, which I do have, and I'm sorry if it wasn't in the Dropbox. I don't know if that's what you're referring to, or a revised plan is what you're referring to.
Well, I only have access to the one plan that they submitted that was in the Dropbox.
Okay.
Which shows the proposed porch overlaid on the, I guess, existing patio. So I don't know what the plants are, where they are. Are the plants existing, and the applicants are proposing to remove some of existing mitigation?
This is Steve Sullivan. I'm back on. The original plan was submitted by Sudbury Design October 17th, 2017, and the mitigation was along the coastal bank. I have a 11 by 17 plan in front of me. I can't see the wording exactly.
Right here. I have a big one, Brad.
Okay.
It's made reference to, you know, right along the coastal bank.
It also goes up the eastern side of the property,
That's correct.
and for the question about what it was sweet fern, St. John's wort, juniper, bayberry, and Carolina rose.
Thank you.
So then there's a bunch of native plantings that were approved in 2017 that were planted when? 2018, I'm guessing? And so have now started to become established, and the applicants are proposing to remove like more than half of that, but as they reduce.
You know, we're not looking to remove anything that was planted. He made a point of this. I guess it really wasn't our intention to change any of the mitigation planting that had already taken place.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought that isn't what I thought the proposal said you wanted to reduce the amount of mitigation.
I guess based on, you know, our changes, that could be a possibility, but it's certainly not in our current scope. And to answer your question before, just outside the footprint of the screen porch that's proposed, it's just going to be grass. No more hardscape.
Okay, well, my take on this at the moment is that, you know, I'm fine with reducing the footprint, but I would not support removing any existing vegetation.
I agree. I thought it was just that they were not going to add more.
Oh,
Right.
so are the existing plantings that were shown on the 2017 design as full mitigation for that new patio, has that all been planted, or has only some of it been planted?
I can't answer that right now, John.
Well, I think it's kind of hard to approve without a more complete plan, like one that shows what's there and what you're proposing to do with it.
It's right here. This is right here.
This is already there.
Yeah, that's already there. That's this piece right there. I can say that based on the site visit, I didn't go counting plants, but the majority of it is there. That was supposed to be planted.
I was not part of the original project, John.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a little hard to see what's happening here.
Right.
Any further comments, John?
Okay. I'm all set, thank you.
All right, thanks. Mark, you're up.
Brad, I couldn't hear. Are you asking me?
No, Mark is up next. Mark, can you hear me?
Okay, there you are. No, I agree with Amy's findings on this. I don't see this being a particular problem.
Okay, thank you. Stan, you're up next.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it being reduced, you know, but I guess now I'm a little bit confused going back to what John is saying, and maybe I lost track because I was trying to look at the satellite view while I was there. Since the original patio had mitigation, is this like doubling up?
No.
No.
It is probably going to result in more, so with the reduction in square footage, because you're going to a smaller deck, screen porch versus the,
You're breaking.
patio.
I can't.
It's gonna be more than the 2-to-1 for the screen porch, but probably slightly less, because it's not, I don't know if it's all been completed, but it's close to the patio. You're still getting the minimum of 2-to-1, if not a little bit more, for the screen porch.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm fine with the, the fact that it's less hardscape and the mitigation is there. I'm fine with that.
All right, thanks, Dan. I'm going to circle back to Carolyn, in case you have any further comments.
I do. Amy, is this the property that they took the cesspools out of the riverbank?
It's a coastal bank. Hold on,
Uh,
let me look for the original plan, hold on. This was one, there was extensive renovations to the house and the pool area.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I listened to everybody else's comment, and I think it's okay.
Okay. All right, well, I think for a matter of simplicity, I'm going to make a motion to support Amy's recommendations, but I first want to ask if anyone has any additional conditions they'd like to put in this request for a change in plans. Seeing none, I move that we grant a request for change in plans for 39 Strandway, removal of existing patio and construction of a new screen porch. Could I have a second, please?
Second?
I'll
Okay.
second.
All right, seconded by Mark. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I took me a minute to find the mic button. I would like to condition that none of the existing mitigation plantings be removed.
Sure.
All right, let's ask the proponent how he feels about that, if that's something they can support.
John, can you restate that, please? You broke up there.
Yeah, I just want to add a condition that whatever mitigation plantings have been installed all remain in place.
I understand, and that would certainly be our intent.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
All right, thank you all. Okay, so we have a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. The request for change of plans has been approved.
Thank you, Board.
Hey, Ernie, your picture went away.
Okay, next, we're moving on to notices of intent, and we have several, excuse me, that will be continued, all till April 1st, Amy?
Yes.
Yikes. Okay, the first one is...
Folks, I'm going to step away at this point. Thank you very much, and this is successful, by the way,
Okay.
presentation.
All right,
Thank you.
thank
We're
you.
working on it.
Thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first one is 0 Old Campground Road, map 30, parcel C11, proposal to construction of a duplex. And it's joined with 0 Old Campground Road, map 30, parcel C12, also construction of a duplex. I move that we grant a continuance for both of these until April 1st, 2020. Could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Carolyn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, so the motion carries unanimously. Next, we have 33 Snowin Road, a NOI for emergency repair on existing bulkhead. And I move that we grant a continuance until April 1st, 2020. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ernie. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. And then lastly, under notice of intents, we have 23 Snowin Road, emergency repairs to existing boathouse and accessory structure. And I move that we continue this hearing until April 1st, 2020. Could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Seconded by Ernie. All those in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Mr. Chairman, while we're in the middle, Caleb, do you have the ability to show the documents that I sent you to the people in the audience, or no? I sent, well, I can have Brad put up on his screen.
Okay, I can show them, if he's gonna put them up on.
So in Dropbox, Brad, if you open up a new tab.
Are you referencing the Belmont document?
Everything, well, Belmont's one of them.
I have, believe I have everything.
So first we're gonna talk about 12 Mill Road.
Do you want me to try to bring it up, or?
Caleb, would it be easier if we, you know,
Easier if Brad brings
if
them
Brad
up,
brings it up? Yeah, so if you can open up another tab.
just so we have one.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. So we're gonna move on to request for extensions.
I just thought it would be good for people who might be watching from home, that they can see what we're discussing.
Yep. That and we need practice.
Yeah. That's the whole purpose of tonight. And to get a few things off the table. So what you can do, I did them all in the order. So we just did Strandway. So this is the request. We can show that for a minute. It might just be easier to show the plan.
So who's playing the news?
So we could show that.
Not me.
Wait a minute, where's
That's,
right here.
yeah, I think so. Yep.
Can we,
I'm not sure how to do that.
is there a way that we can show, that you can just show the Dropbox?
There is.
Well, it was a good thought.
Which road are you, going to talk about first?
12 mil.
I know we bring presentation PowerPoints into this,
Yeah,
but I'm not certain.
I think I'm gonna try that next time.
Yeah.
No, let's not worry about it right now.
Okay.
It is right here, but I don't know how you also,
You can assign a presenter, and the presenter can bring up their screen, and that's what shows, but I'm not.
we need to have two computers doing this is what we need.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can,
Okay, we can have discussion,
yeah, we can have discussion.
and if things are really,
We will need for public hearings to be able to do.
yeah, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead with the request for extensions, and at least have a discussion on it and hear from Amy's thoughts on these requests. The first one is 12 Mill Road, and it's a request related to vegetation management, and they would like a one-year extension.
Is Ben Layton in the call?
I don't think so.
Okay, if Ben is not here, I know Don Monroe is around as well, but I can speak to it briefly. This was a violation a couple of years back. They did the initial planting. They had a poor survival rate of those plants. They had to replant. They did this past fall with some augmentations based on the site. And they just need, their permit, it expires this spring. I said we probably wouldn't entertain a certificate of compliance till at least this fall to make sure the plants that were planted last fall survive. So I would recommend a one-year extension for 12 Mill Road.
Thank you, Amy.
I didn't know if Don wanted to say anything or not.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Brad, yeah, that does need an extension because we got to make sure those plants survive. Ben Layton did a really nice job putting in some good sizable plants compared to the first landscape architect.
Yes.
So I think we just want to give McNeely's a chance to show that they're doing the right thing compared to what was happening before.
Okay, thank you. All right, so what I'm gonna do for this is go ahead and make a motion, and then I'm gonna save the discussion for under discussion, just to try to expedite things. So I'm gonna move that we approve the request for an extension for 12 Mill Road, vegetation management, looking for a 1-year extension, and ask for a second.
I'll second.
All right, Carolyn has seconded it, so now, under discussion, would any of the members like to have comments on this?
No comment.
No?
Okay, we'll seeing none then, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries, thank you. Okay, next, we have a request for extension for 1 Belmont Road. It's a beach cleaning, and the request is for a 3-year extension. Any comments for us, Amy?
Is Jay Donovan from the Belmont on the call?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Amy.
Jay, do you want to briefly describe your practices over the last 3 years and your request for an extension?
Certainly. Good evening, all. I'm the property manager at the Belmont, and we got a notice of intent about 3 years ago to clean our beaches because I let the last one lapse, and I swore I'd never do it again, so here I am. Our operation down at the Belmont is we have a Bobcat tractor, the same machine that we had 3 years ago, that goes out and just basically rakes. It's like a York rake, but it's a Bobcat machine. And we just rake the beach and groom it. Our practice up until about 5 years ago was to remove the heavy podium, but the owners were paying $5,000 a shot to remove that, and they were spending an exorbitant amount of money for something that nature would take away. So now we do not remove the seaweed at all. We hadn't had any problems the last couple of years, as you might notice in my little brief narratives. This past year, in July, we had tremendous podium seaweed, and we just didn't do anything with it at all. We didn't move it. We didn't try to rake it. Our machine couldn't move it anyway, and we were going to pay the money to take care of it. So we just let nature take its course, and then in probably beginning of August, it was gone. We also have piping plover shorebirds there, and we've been very, very cooperative over the last several years with the Audubon Society. We had a nesting pair about 4 years ago, and then they didn't return the following year. One of the mates was killed, but we did have a pair this season, and we did all the symbolic fencing. Our owners are actually very interested in the plovers, and so they enjoy watching the chicks run to the water and do their thing. But we've already been contacted by the Audubon Society this year, and they'll be putting up some symbolic fencing because we anticipate the shorebirds coming back again. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Any comments from Amy?
The Belmont has been good about reporting. Their permit is, what they do, their practices are fairly benign, actually, compared to what other associations, and in some cases, the town actually does to manage our beaches. In terms of, we typically use a front end loader when we have a lot of codium. They said they just left it there. They really kind of just move things around and smooth stuff out with their Barber Beach rake. And we have correspondence from Mass Audubon over the years of their cooperation with Audubon. So I would recommend giving them their 3-year extension to continue their practice. This would also include a very small amount of nourishment if they needed it, with consultation from me.
Thank you, Amy. I'm going to jump in and ask a question on the reporting. So the order of condition has a fairly detailed requirement for reporting, and they've been prompt with that. They've been on time. It's had all.
This 1 year that was late, but they did get that into me.
Mm-hmm.
And it has, what they do provide is really is the meat and potatoes of what the order requires from them.
Yep. And does that include the approximate amount of material? Is that documented?
Jay, can you comment on that while I look?
I'm sorry that that you broke up.
Sure. One of the things we were looking for with this order, I think, is to get a sense of the overall amount of material that is coming in and has to be dealt with. And so, did you report that estimate of, cubic yard volume of material that's removed?
They actually didn't remove it.
Oh, just,
We don't remove it at all.
okay,
We just leave it there. We let nature take its course.
okay, so you're just moving it around.
Basically is groomed so the sand is soft for the residents.
Okay,
Kind of mix it in.
yep. How about the percent composition of the material? Is it mainly, large majority, is it codium?
Hey, Brad and Amy, the last 2 minutes, you're really breaking up.
Yeah, Brad, you and Amy are breaking up a lot.
Okay. I had just asked him about the percent composition of the material. Was it mostly codium?
Yes, it was. During the heavy portion in July this year, it was all codium. The very, very heavy grain codium.
Okay, thank you. Did that come through better, folks?
Brad,
Yeah.
it's still breaking up, and I think what's necessary is for anybody who is not talking
Yeah.
to mute. Maybe you can mute everybody, Brad. But
Well,
part of
Ernie-
that,
I
everybody has to mute unless they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to be only Amy and Brad that are breaking up.
Well, that's because there's echo when people leave their
Microphones, too.
speakers unmuted.
I think
Okay.
it's easier if you guys mute yourself than have me mute you all. So I think just to get through this, if you could do that. And so what I'm going to do now, I think this is probably a request that we should ask for discussion. So I'll go down the list again, starting with Carolyn, and ask if you have any comments on this.
No, I don't have any comments. It seems very reasonable.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next is Ernie. Any comments?
No, I don't. It sounds like they're very, very concerned about the protection of the beach and the plovers and everything else, so I'm fine with this. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Ernie. Next up is John.
Yeah, this seems fine to me. I just have a question though. I'm looking at satellite view. I haven't been able to go over and visit, and it looks like there isn't a whole lot of beach area there. Period. A lot of, at least this is right to the west of the entrance to the Herring River. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
That is correct. About 600 feet beach.
600 feet of beach. Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
And but that looks like there's a bunch of undisturbed vegetation in the middle as well, sort of.
Dune.
You
Yes.
know, are you raking?
We are not raking the dune.
So, but you're raking just seaward of the dune?
Pretty much. We just go along from the public beach towards the jetty and back, just back and forth. The length of the beach.
Okay, thank you. Sounds good
thank-
to me.
Thanks, John. Next up is Mark.
No, I'm okay with this. This is fine.
Okay, thanks. And finally, Stan.
No, I'm okay. So the whole beach cleaning is just the raking then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm fine.
Okay. So,
Actually, hey, Brad,
yes,
since everybody's shut off, you're much better now. There's no breaking up anymore.
okay, so we'll do that. We'll have you guys mute yourself when you're done, and we'll call for comments when it's appropriate. So you all have the special conditions from last time, and so what we'll do is I'll make a motion to approve this, and then we will receive the order at the next meeting, I imagine. Or,
Well, we have to figure out how we're gonna get signatures.
okay,
So this is an extension. The orders are gonna stay the same.
okay. Yep, all right. In that case, I'm gonna move that we accept the request for extension for 1 Belmont Road for beach cleaning, for requesting a 3-year extension. Could I have a second, please?
Okay, I
I'll
second.
second.
Okay. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
Have a great evening.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We're continuing the next one.
Okay, the next request for an extension is for 177 Forest Street. Additions and renovations, they've come to request for a 3-year extension, but we're going to continue this until April 1st, 2020, and I move that we grant that continuance. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, thank you. Under discussion, I'll ask Amy if there's any update or just simply a continuance.
I've recommended the continuance for this. I think it was too much to kind of talk about in our first run-through. There's a lot of things going on here we need to talk about.
Okay. All right then, so the motion is on the table. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have a continuance there. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have a request for certificate of compliance for 375 Main Street, map 47 parcel G3-3 for a new duplex. Any thoughts, Amy?
Just first, before I make any comments, is there anybody on the call representing this? Okay. So the commission, we held off on voting on this certificate of compliance a couple of meetings ago because we had not yet received the as-built plan. And you wanted me to double check on the trees that were planted in the old bog access road. So I did that. The trees are about 6 feet tall, white pines. They're very healthy looking. They've been in for a couple of growing seasons. They did get us the as-built site plan, which matches the plan that you permitted. So I would recommend a certificate of compliance for 375 Main Street.
All right, thank you. Any comments at all before we go forward on this? Ernie, did you have a comment?
No, I don't. I'm fine, Brad.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion, and we can have discussion as well. So I move that we approve the request for certificate of compliance for 375 Main Street for a new duplex. Could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, and any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have unanimous approval. Okay, next, we have an order of conditions for 3 Lincoln Ave, map 6, parcel G3-1 for an addition, decks, and mitigation plantings. We have that, you should have a copy of that to look over.
Everybody just let me know if you have any changes, and I can make them.
No comments.
Thanks, John. I have no comments.
I'm fine with him, Brad.
Thanks, Ernie.
No comments.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
I'm all set.
All right, we're waiting on Carolyn, who'll usually find something.
No, I did not.
Wow, okay,
I'm-
it's clean. Okay, well, I'm gonna motion that we approve the order of condition for 3 Lincoln Avenue, map 6, parcel G3-1. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, seconded by John. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So that takes the so-called housekeeping items of the agenda.
We do have one more that didn't make it onto the agenda, but we can do it after we talk about 11 Harbor Way, because I know there's somebody on the line waiting for that one.
Okay. Well, do you want to open that discussion, Amy?
For 11 Harbor Way,
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll let Don Monroe do that.
Okay.
Hey, this is going pretty well, folks. You should be proud of yourselves.
So far, so good.
Yeah. The only other town I know of that did one was last night in Provincetown. And that went off pretty well, just like this one.
Oh, good.
So France Reddy's boathouse, fish house that has the shellfish growing operation going in it. There's two helical anchors that are holding the fish house kind of in place. Remember, they did do a good substantial foundation underneath it under an emergency. He did get his permit finally through this appeal process for the larger boathouse, but he's opting not to do that right now. He wants to just keep this operation going. But the two helical anchors that anchor the whole boat, the whole fish house to the shoreline, it's not functioning properly. There's a little bending in it, so if there's a southwest wind, it'll actually make the fish house move a little bit, and that's not supposed to be happening. And that's mainly because there's not enough tie back to the shoreline. Just the pilings and the cross members aren't enough to keep that movement from happening. So there are existing tiebacks that go up to the underside of the fish house, and then they are tied to a coupler that goes into the sediment, and there are already helical anchors in there that they're fastened to. We had Cape Cod Docks look at it, and they came up with a system that we think is very low intrusive, but we have to add two helical anchors to two of the anchoring systems, one on the north side of the building and one on the south. I had Amy out looking at it, and we'll only be introducing, like I said, two additional helical anchors in, but we have to remove one of them because it's only going straight back. What we need is an anchoring system where we have two anchors going off at 45-degree angles to a main support helical anchor, which is the one that's already in the ground. That one that's already in the ground, we remove that one and set it so it goes straight up and down instead of at an angle back towards the shoreline. That would act like a post. We put a sleeve around it, and then the two other helical anchors would be put at 45-degree angle back towards the shoreline and hold the whole system together with the existing tieback that goes to the foundation under the fish house. So we're only working in the area landward of the building itself. We don't have to do anything technically in the water. It does flood, so but we wouldn't be doing the work during a flood time. We'd be actually having Cape Cod Docks install the helical anchors in the dry, and then just make the connection to the existing tieback to the existing fish house. So I know that's a long-winded description. There is a sketch plan that we submitted to you, and then I sent Amy some photographs late in the day. I don't know if you've got those photographs or are able to look at them, but the sheet number 2 kind of shows what we're trying to do with those existing tiebacks that go to the underside of the existing fish house. I don't know if anybody can you folks see me on the screen?
Yes.
So I'll try to, I don't know if this will work or not.
They do have it in their Dropboxes electronically, Don, and I just gave Brad a physical copy.
Mm-hmm.
Of the photographs?
Yes.
Okay, so they are all kind of looking at the photographs. That's one of the helical anchors that holds. You can see where it bends. The main photograph is the one that has the helical anchor with the coupler, and it's kind of, you can see it has an angle to it. That angle is what's causing the fish house to move, because it'll buckle right there.
Mm-hmm.
It'll move like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that existing helical anchor that goes to the left of the photograph into the ground. That's going to come out and go and be put back in the ground straight up and down. Then the other coupler will come into it straight like that. Okay, and then the other two helical angles will be put back at 45-degree angle on either side of the one that's going to go straight up and down. So all you'll really see is two other square things coming up out of the ground, like the one that comes out of the ground in that main photograph.
All right, thank you. Amy, what is the process for this? Would this be a, an amendment, or how would this proceed?
It is under discussion and possible vote. It is actually, it is, in my mind, very minor. The only reason I put it on as an agenda item was because of its controversialness when it went through us. I wanted it to be on a formal agenda, which it is, so you can vote on it under this. It is very minor work. They're basically working with what is existing there and replacing.
Mhm.
I don't see it as any additional damage. I don't see a formal plan change needed.
Right.
It's really just that you're agreeing that this is that it is minor, it is needed for support of the building,
Right,
and it's in the same footprint as existing.
right. But doesn't it fall into some category where administrative review, or, what would it fall
I
under?
didn't feel it was appropriate as administrative review just because of the court or the legal,
Right,
because of the appeal that this was under. I felt it was something the commission to make a decision under, and you can, the way we have it advertised here.
uh-huh,
It's essentially, maybe I should have called it a change in plan.
That's what I'm curious, because it's odd to vote on something that doesn't have that structure. I don't mind having you support it as an administrative review because you've seen it, but,
If you feel comfortable with that and we're having this discussion in a public meeting, that's fine with me.
yeah, otherwise, it almost seems to be a little bit in limbo as to what it would be.
Yeah.
Is it an amendment, is it a change of plans? I do agree, it appears to be a benign, modification.
Yeah.
So I guess what we'll do is we'll go down the line and ask for comments, and then we'll circle back to that question on how do we structure this. And I'll start with you, Carolyn, first on my list.
It sounds like it has to be done, and I think it's an administrative procedural question how we want to approve it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Ernie?
Yeah, I don't have any concerns about this. I mean, it looks, I guess the only question I have, the one helical coil that's on the southern side, that's well inland from the fish house itself.
Correct.
What connects that to the fish house?
Yeah, that's the long tieback. If you have a series of photos, you can try to scroll through them, or there's one picture that shows it that goes right through the middle of the. You can see it right there on my screen. There's a long. Sorry.
I think when I speak
tie rod.
Try it.
That tie rod goes all the way to the foundation supports under the fish house, and that's what holds it from moving back and forth. But because we have that little moment arm in there, it's flexing, and we need to take that flex out of it. And the only way to do it is right where it meets the coupler.
All right, okay. And that's shown in the sort of the attachment to the plan itself. There's two diagrams here showing the actual fish house plan, and then the scope of the top view, it's called, I guess.
Yes.
The helical system detail, right? Okay.
Yes, Ernie, you're right. It's actually called. They're calling it an existing 1-inch dead man rod. That's the rod that goes all the way to the bottom of the boat fish house.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I'm fine. That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks. Mark, you're up next for comments.
I see this being a pretty simple thing. I really don't see an issue with it. I think it's advisable to go ahead just as we discussed.
All right, thank you. Stan?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. So I guess we need to vote on something. Would it be appropriate to vote to support administrative review, or just to vote to support this request? It just doesn't have any structure, so I'm not sure what the motion should be made. or
Yeah,
what
I
the
mean,
motion
it
should
did,
be.
it does,
Brad,
Yes,
Does John have,
I
John?
have a question.
sure. Oh, did I not call you, John? I'm sorry. Please.
No
John.
problem. I just want to ask what kind of machines they need to get in there to do this work.
Sure, John. They have a handheld apparatus, kind of like what they use to put post holes into the ground. Same apparatus is used to screw the helical anchor in. Two men hold on either side of it, and it's a handheld operation. It's very simple. You don't have to use a machine or anything like that.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
what we could do, you could do one of two things. Really, how a change in plan is advertised versus how this is shown. There's nothing different other than the wording. So you can vote to approve my recommendation to allow this change, or if you want me to write up a separate approval on your behalf with your blessing, I'm happy to do that too.
Okay. I think we just expedited. There's full support on what you're recommending.
Okay.
So I think that we should, I'd like to motion that we approve the conservation agent's recommendation to allow this repair for 11 Harbor Way proposed helical system. And if I could have a second, please.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Well, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Amy and Brad, you're doing a good job.
Thanks. We'll see you on the first.
It's different, that's for sure. Okay,
Before we get into the violation talk, can we scoot back to, we're gonna do this other business. It was an order of conditions that missed
okay,
the agenda,
yeah,
but we've already had the hearing, approved the project. I'd like to issue the order of conditions for them. You do have it in your Dropbox.
is that 39 Prince?
39 Prince Charles. And then
Okay.
I'll update you after about the violation there.
Okay, so folks, we do have another order of conditions to review and potentially approve that I don't think made it on the agenda, but it, oh no, it's there, it's 39 Prince Charles Drive.
Yeah, but
It
that was the
predated.
violation, yeah. We're
Okay.
gonna do this under other business.
Oh.
Since we already voted to approve the project, we're not having a hearing on it, I think that's okay.
Okay, so the order is in the Dropbox. It only has 6 special conditions. Amy's recommending that we do approve it. Would folks like to review that, or would you like me to read the special conditions?
I don't have any comments.
Okay,
We have them in our Dropbox.
yep,
Yeah, I have no comments on it, Brad.
oh, good. It's fairly straightforward. I have no comments myself. And so, let's go ahead, and I'll motion that we approve the order of conditions for 39 Prince Charles Drive, map
I'll
110.
second. I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Seconded by Ernie. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
It's approved. Motion carries.
While we're on Prince Charles,
Okay,
do you want me to talk about the violation?
please.
So,
Amy, I don't see, was there supposed to be something in the Dropbox for the violations?
No.
Because I don't see anything.
no, it was just a written, oral report from me. Okay? So the owners are in Florida for the winter. The event most likely took place late last fall. I met with their property representative, Chris Ramsey, of Pretty Picky Properties, and he actually said it was most likely the owner who did the work, but he would check. I know Chris didn't do it himself. I know Chris. He was the previous head of the Orleans Conservation Trust. He wouldn't have done this. He just works for the owner, so he's acting as rep for this. So what I did tell him to do was I told him to remove all the debris that had been cut from the bank. Actually, is Chris on this call? No. Okay, so I told him to remove all the cut debris so that regrowth could happen. most what was cut was sapling, oaks, and cherries. The permit was to maintain the vegetation at a height of no less than 4 feet, but as you saw, everything was flush cut to the ground. What I would recommend is a $300 fine for the cutting. It's hard to kind of quantify it because it was all sapling regrowth to begin with. I'd recommend the $300 fine, see what resprouts this spring from cut saplings and let those grow, and have them plant new native shrubs in any bare areas and seed the slope with native grass mix under my direction.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, for this one, we'll go down the list and ask for comments, starting with you, Carolyn.
No, I don't have any comment. That sounds reasonable.
Thank you. Next is Ernie.
Yeah, Amy, do you recommend that we allow the property owner to do this themselves since they were the ones that did the cutting, or have an outside contractor do it?
I don't think it matters, but I would like to put I'm gonna put a survival rate, on the enforcement after we discuss if replanting needs to get done.
Because I guess I'd prefer to have an outside contractor do it, because there's two pieces to it. One is to clear out the dead vegetation that's still there, all the debris and everything. And the second one is to do the replantings. And I'm not sure I want the homeowner to do that. I'd rather have someone else.
Okay. I will let you know that I had already instructed Chris, who he knows how to do environmentally sensitive things, to remove the cut debris because we are getting into spring and things are starting to resprout, and I didn't want that to get hindered. So chances are that has already gotten done. But if you wanted to condition that any replanting that was necessary had to be done by a professional company, I think that's reasonable.
Okay. John, you're next.
Yeah, I don't have any comments. This seems reasonable to me.
Thanks, John. Mark?
No, this is reasonable. I'm okay with this.
Okay, thanks. Stan?
Amy, at what point do you determine whether there has to be any replanting?
So once things start leafing out in the next couple of months, usually by early to mid-May, I'll be able to tell if we're getting any resprout. But I do know there are some bare areas there anyways. So I'm not going to recommend replanting in and amongst all the new sapling resprouts, but if there's a large bare area, I'm going to recommend the replanting, but that probably won't be until early May.
Okay, so that will be part of the condition, that it'll be based on your opinion of what you see after by May or June?
Yes. And they already have agreed to do the replanting this spring if it's needed.
Okay. And
What do you mean that they'll be replanted this spring if it's needed? You mean based on your decision?
Based on my decision.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Stan. And the way this will move forward is with a letter that you craft.
It'll be a formal enforcement order.
Yep, enforcement order that goes out and.
With the fine.
Yep. Any need to put, to quantify the bare spaces? Any need to say what that means in terms of area or dimensions or?
My plan was to, when things start to resprout in the beginning of May, is to take their site plan with me and mark any areas that were, that should support new plantings.
Okay.
And then quantify.
Amy, one other question. When are the owners coming back from Florida?
I don't know. So my contact is Mr. Ramsey over at Pretty Picky Properties.
All right. It sort of supports my suggestion that we have a professional do it then too.
Sounds good.
Okay. Any further discussion points? Okay, seeing none, then I'm gonna move that we support Amy's recommendations for the violation at 39 Prince Charles to execute an enforcement order that includes a $300 fine, as well as the plans to consult with Amy moving forward on potential plantings for bare spots. Could I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, thanks, Mark. Any discussion, any further thoughts on conditions of that enforcement order?
Yeah, let me ask again, Brad, is the enforcement order going to require professionals or no?
Yes, it will.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Then I'm fine with that.
all right, fine. Any further comments on this? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye?
I,
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, what else are we gonna tackle tonight, Amy?
I wanted to update you on 51 Dunes road violation.
Mm-hmm.
This was the site that many of us went to last time, where 30-plus pitch pines were either cut in half or flush cut to the ground, partially on 51 and partially on association property. It was a very large violation. Really, all the trees in the view were cut. The commission at the last meeting instructed me to really quantify the numbers that were cut that were larger than 3 inches in diameter. And I had done the rough count before, but I went back and counted exactly. And it turned out to be 31 trees that were greater than 3 inches in diameter. And there were a few others that were less than the 3 inches in diameter, really kind of saplings, probably resprouts from previous cuts. But the new cuts, not the ones that you saw of old stumps on the site, but new cuts, there were 31. So tomorrow, I meant to do it a little earlier, but I don't know what's happening around here that has caused a slight delay. Sorry, it's really not funny. But tomorrow, the enforcement will go out. They are aware of it. The owners for $9,300 fine.
$9,300.
It's 31 trees at $300, you said, per tree. And then there's also the enforcement order to do a replanting at a 2-to-1 ratio. And half of that's gonna be trees and half of that's gonna be shrubs as per your discussion.
Yes.
The owner would like to have some discussion with you in the future about that. They have said that because of the level of fines, they wanted to see if you would discuss with them the amount of plantings they have to do. And I said that's a discussion that they can have with you in the future. But right now, that is how it stands.
Okay. Well, thank you, Amy, for doing all that background work and figuring that out for us. So, we're gonna discuss this and vote on it. We did discuss this
You
quite
don't
a...
have to vote.
Oh, we don't?
It's an update from me.
Okay, so that...
Unless you, I did what you instructed me to do.
Right,
So
right.
if anything has changed, let me know.
Okay. Did we vote last time?
You did.
We did. Okay, all right then. So that's an update. Fairly substantial fine in reaction to a very large violation, so I'll still ask for comments quickly from everybody on this, because it is, you know, such a large situation for us. Carolyn, I'll start with you.
Good work, Amy. Thank you. That's all.
Okay. Ernie?
yeah, no, Amy, I'm on board. That's well done. Thank you.
You're welcome.
John?
Yep, I agree. Well done, Amy, and I think it's appropriate. Hopefully it sends a message.
All right. Thank you. Mark?
That'll send a message. Good job.
Okay. And conclude with you, Stan?
Yeah, good job, Amy. And we had a lot of discussion, and I haven't changed my opinion at all. It should be what it is.
All right, well, thank everybody for participating with this. I've got to signal my battery's running low here, and so I don't know if we have,
Ooh, we have a cord.
if we have enough time to, you know,
We got a cord.
get through it.
I just didn't do that.
Okay. are we gonna tackle the minutes from August 21st?
Are the minutes in, ask them if the minutes are in the Dropbox.
Have folks seen the minutes for August 21st, 2019?
No, they're not there.
It's
They
okay,
weren't
we
last
didn't
time I
finish.
looked.
Okay, so that we won't tackle that tonight. Are we gonna be doing anything under executive session?
Yep, so I would recommend, Caleb, we're gonna do an executive session, so we'll roll call out of this and you'll cut the video?
Will do.
So, as you normally would.
Okay, well then I'm going to motion that we adjourn the regular session of the Conservation Commission for tonight, and then we're gonna move into executive session. So I move that we terminate the regular meeting. If I could have a second, please.
Second.
Okay, that's from Ernie. All those in favor say aye. Okay, and then I'm gonna motion that we enter executive session, and we'll do a roll call